Should you work for Leaf Filter installing their gutter guard system? Or if you're interested in purchasing the product, should you? I worked for Leaf Filter for a short time, so I'm going to tell you about my experience. It starts out where you go in and meet someone, the hiring rep, or whatever you want to call them. They pretty much fluff up the position. They have no idea what you actually need to do the job. The guy was telling me that I needed to get 2 A-frame ladders, put them next to each other, and then put a board in between them so that I could have a scaffolding-like setup to be able to install the product in 5-foot sections. Well, guess what? I found out, being on the field, that you only need 1 adjustable A-frame ladder to put in a 5-foot section at a time, because you can easily go from one side of the ladder to the other while you're in the air and keep going. When you first start with the company, you have to do training for 2 days, and when I went to do the training, I had to drive about an hour each way to get to my first job that I trained on. And because we ended up having bad weather, it took 3 days to do this job. And overall, it probably took 8 hours to do all of the work. But I had to go there 3 days with the trainer because of the weather. And this job, I think it paid $116 for the job. So think about that. Is 3 days of work worth it for $116? I would say no. That is a rare case, though, that you go to work and it rains like that, but it does happen. The next thing that I found out was that the sales reps that actually go out to the house or the property or whatever it is, the sales reps give the customers false promises. The sales reps are also clueless about installers, and they cause headache for the installers because they don't know what they're talking about. The last job I did, that was the final straw, this is what happened. I spent all day there working on the customer's gutters, and what happened was the fascia wood is set on the roof at an angle, and then the gutter was installed improperly to where this was about, I think, a 30-foot section of gutter, and each end of the gutter, they had the nail spikes in there properly, so the gutter was level with the edge of the roof next to the drip edge. But then the rest of it, the gutter bowed and contoured to the fascia board. I did what I could. I put the anchors in there, and I explained to the customer that there's nothing I could do to adjust it properly because it wasn't installed correctly, and also because the fascia board is angled. It's going to want to contour to that angle naturally. So the customer complained and was not very nice and didn't want to pay for the job. So I left, and that was it. Now let's get into the numbers. This product, I think, in my opinion, and I'm sure many would agree, it's very expensive. What they do is, it's very stupid, I think, is they give you a gas allowance, which is actually very generous. But the problem with the gas allowance is it doesn't show up separate, so you end up paying taxes on money you were being reimbursed. Does that make any sense? Since when is a reimbursement taxable income? It's not. You can look it up online. Most places that pay it, they don't list it separately, so the IRS thinks that that's income. If you're ever at a position where they give you a fuel reimbursement and you can't prove to the IRS, or it doesn't show on there that it's listed as a reimbursement and it's just part of your paycheck, then you need to quit that job. Because you're giving the IRS free money. According to the math that I ran on some jobs that I've done, the installer gets around 6% of the total cost of the job. 6%. You're out there doing all the work, and your company is doing nothing. You get 6%. I don't know what the sales reps get. I bet they get more than the installers, which is messed up. That's just how corporate America works. The person that does the least work seems to get paid the most. That I am scratching my head about. I cannot figure that out. What I noticed too that is odd is that bigger jobs that pay a lot more because it's a bigger house or whatever, they got more gutters to do, they pay around 3% of the total price to the installer. Why doesn't it stay 6%? 6% isn't much as it is, but the installer's only getting 3%. They get less when the company's making more money. That makes no sense to me. Should you work for Leaf Filter as an installer? No. Do not touch it with a 10-foot pole. Should you have the filter guard installed on your house? No. It is way too expensive. And you can see issues online where the mesh, the holes are so small, the water actually runs off of the gutters onto the ground because it can't get through that mesh fast enough. Now you know if you should work for Leaf Filter as an installer or if you should buy the product. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. If you have any suggestions for future videos, leave a comment.